Finally, the moment Dune fans have been desperately waiting for is here. The trailer for Dune Part 3 drops Tuesday, and Deadline has already been shown the brand new footage, along with participating in a Q&A with director Denis Villeneuve. And based on what's being teased, this is going to be absolutely massive. Already, the pump is being primed for the third installment, with star Timothée Chalamet revealing his character poster on his social media Monday. Warner Bros. Has since made several character posters available, and there's some major news buried in those posters. Isaac de Bancole has joined the cast, playing a character named Farouk. But that's just the beginning of the reveals. Among the other juicy tidbits fans are awaiting, the revelation of new cast members, some of which have already been reported, the fate of Timothée Chalamet's Paul Atreides and Zendaya's Chani after that devastating ending of Part 2, and just how much we will see of Rebecca Ferguson this time around. Let's talk about what we know so far. Dune Part 3 is adapted from the 1969 Frank Herbert book Dune Messiah, which is a very different story from the first two films. Without spoiling too much for people who haven't read the books, Dune Messiah is darker, more political, and deals with the consequences of Paul becoming the messianic figure we saw him transform into at the end of Part 2. The film is set to hit theaters on December 18th, 2026. That's exactly right, this December. We're getting Dune Part 3 this year, which is incredibly fast considering Part 2 just came out in 2024 and won 8 Oscars from 15 nominations. So what do we know about the cast and production? Robert Pattinson confirmed his participation, and insiders have told Deadline that he'll be playing the villain role of Skytail. Pattinson's description of filming is absolutely hilarious. When I was doing Dune, it was so hot in the desert that I just couldn't question anything. It was so relaxing, like my brain actually wasn't operating. I did not have a single functioning brain cell, and I was just listening to Denis. Whatever you want. Robert Pattinson admitting he had 0 functioning brain cells in the desert heat while Denis Villeneuve directed him is peak Pattinson energy. He's one of the most interesting actors working today, and seeing him as a villain in the Dune universe is going to be incredible. Anya Taylor-Joy, who was teased at the end of the second film, will be joining the cast in the role of Chalamet's younger sister, Aaliyah. If you remember the end of Part 2, there was a brief flash-forward vision showing an adult Aaliyah, and that was Anya Taylor-Joy. Now she's officially part of the cast for Part 3. Villeneuve reportedly shot the film last summer using IMAX cameras, at least in part, so we're getting that same stunning visual scoop that made the first 2 films so breathtaking. Denis Villeneuve shooting in IMAX in actual desert locations is a guarantee of spectacular cinematography. The character posters that dropped Monday show the full ensemble: Timothée Chalamet as Paul Atreides, Zendaya as Chani, Anya Taylor-Joy as Anya Atreides, Florence Pugh as Princess Irulan, Isaac de Bancole as Farouk, Jason Momoa as Duncan Idaho. Yes, Duncan is back, presumably in Gola form for those who know the books, Javier Bardem as Stilgar, Rebecca Ferguson as Reverend Mother, and Robert Pattinson as Skycale. That's an absolutely stacked cast, and the dynamics between these characters are going to be fascinating given where Part 2 left us. Paul has fully embraced his role as the Fremen Messiah. Chani has rejected him and left. Jessica has become something far more sinister as a Reverend Mother. Princess Irulan is now politically entangled with Paul through a marriage alliance. Dune Messiah, the book this is based on, is about the consequences of religious fanaticism and messianic leadership. Paul realizes that the jihad he unleashed across the universe in his name has killed billions, and he's trapped by the mythology he created around himself. It's a much more introspective, tragic story than the hero's journey we got in the first 2 films. Denis Villeneuve has said that Dune Part 3 will be his last Dune entry, stating it's not like a trilogy in terms of how the 3 films work together. Part 1 and 2 tell a complete story adapted from the first Dune book. Part 3 is a separate story from Dune Messiah that deals with the aftermath. The success of the first two films has been staggering. They earned a combined $1.12 billion at the global box office. They won 8 Oscars. They both received Best Picture nominations. They've been critical and commercial successes, which almost never happens with science fiction at this scale. And the Dune universe keeps expanding. The prequel TV series Dune Prophecy premiered on HBO and HBO Max in November to critical acclaim. It's set 10,000 years before Paul Atreides and explores the origins of the Bene Gesserit sisterhood. So we're getting both the continuation of Paul's story and the deep history of this universe. The fact that we're getting the trailer Tuesday means we're about to get our first real look at what Villeneuve has done with Dune Messiah. We'll see how he's aged up Timothée Chalamet to show Paul years into his reign as emperor. We'll see Anya Taylor-Joy as the terrifying, prescient Aaliyah. We'll see Robert Pattinson as whatever disturbing thing Skytale turns out to be. For Timothée Chalamet specifically, this completes a trilogy of films that will define his career. He was already a star before Dune, but playing Paul Atreides across 3 Denis Villeneuve films with this level of scope, budget, and acclaim is career-defining work. These are the kinds of roles actors build legacies on. And the timing is interesting. We're getting the trailer right after Chalamet faced backlash for his ballet and opera comments, right before the Oscars, where he's nominated for Marty Supreme. The Dune Part 3 trailer will remind everyone that beyond any controversy, Timothée Chalamet is the lead of one of the biggest sci-fi franchises in modern cinema. The trailer drops Tuesday. Character posters are out now. The film hits theaters December 18th. Denis Villeneuve's final Dune film is almost here, and based on everything we know, it's going to be spectacular, dark, and the perfect conclusion to Paul Atreides' tragic arc. Get ready, the spice must flow, and Tuesday we finally get to see what that looks like in Dune Part 3.
As a single mom, your support means everything to me. Please subscribe for more updates and stories like this. Thank you.